So I decided to test fit the headlights just to figure out where are we, because my passenger fender is a little off. I want to see how far. So I know this gap is a little rough. I don't have the foam in here. I probably need to get the foam on the front bumper because that's going to pull this out a little bit and I think get that back into shape. I don't know how far. I mean, I could see the fender being a little higher in the headlight, just aerodynamics and stuff. Like all this seems a little weird. I don't know. Like you can see there's a gap, but I'm not sure how that's supposed to fit in there. So I think I need to do a little more thorough of an install. Now going over here, I have some big concerns. So I knew the headlight kind of rammed into here. And that is way out. I think that needs to be much farther in. I was going to see if I could do this with the fender on. Not going to be able to do that. I mean, that's... Now, can I save this fender? I think it's possible. And so, see, this fender kind of sticks out past the headlight. I don't know how that's supposed to be. I mean, it's out kind of on this side, but again, everything's not bolted in. I think, and kind of, like that, starting to get close. Like some of this with the bumper, I think that might be better. But this is kicked out. I mean, what was that? 3/8 of an inch, maybe ½ inch. This whole piece needs to come in. And I considered, do I take the whole core support off? Because the reason, what is blocking me is the core support right here. I don't really want to take this fender off because with it on, it allows me very easy access to test fit to figure out how far out I am, which is quite a bit. Do I buy a new fender? It'd certainly be easier, but I would have to travel a ways. And I'd like to say that, I mean, this fender is not in bad shape. It's just, it's got a little ripple here, a bigger ripple than I thought. And this whole piece needs to come in that way. But, yeah, I'm glad I tested the lights on again. Yeah, here's the problem. I've never done this before. I'm kind of learning as I go. I thought, oh yeah, I'll test fit the bumper. You really got to test fit all the pieces. Because if you don't, you just don't know. And this needs to come in a bit. Quite a bit. Now, what does it take to take the core support off? I mean, the radiator, some bolts. It's not crazy, but I don't really want to. But do I want to take the fender off? No, I don't want to do that either. Because the nice thing is the fender in place, well, it's mounted where I can hammer on it and it's not moving. If I take it off, I got to have some way to clamp it down or bolt it to something so that I'm not wasting my effort. Because if it's not bolted down, you hit it, it's going all over the place. You don't know what you're doing. I don't want that. I mean, the rest of the fender, like that door gap. That door gap's great. That gap might be tight. Let's see what the other side looks like. But that door gap, to me, that's great. It looks perfect. Let's look at the A-pillar gap. Let's see where we are. It looks pretty similar, I think. Door gap definitely looks similar. And yeah, really, this gap probably, I'm not surprised it doesn't look tighter. Just with this whole fender getting pushed, but that's why it's got multiple bolts in there where all the impact is absorbed towards the front and doesn't reach the back. So do I take the core support off? My coolant leak, now I'm wondering, I didn't replace the thermostat housing. I was thinking maybe it's just the O-ring after I took it apart, because I could not find any damage with the thermostat housing. Now I'm wondering, is there just a hairline crack that is so small I can't see? Because it's still leaking pretty good. I'm not sure it's the O-ring. I mean, that seems to be pretty tight. The next culprit would be the thermostat housing. I don't want to just needlessly throw parts of this thing and spend money on it. But something's going on. And it's regulated to the thermostat housing, and maybe it is just a hairline fracture. And if it is a hairline fracture, hairline crack, and because you see the coolant, it's like accumulating at the bottom of the thermostat housing, right where the inlet pipe is. Well, if it's a hairline crack, no matter where it is, gravity's going to cause that coolant to come to the bottom. So maybe that's it. I don't know. And I can take the core support, the front core support off without undoing the radiator, hosing all that, and kind of just hold that in place. And maybe that's my option. I need to double check how many bolts it was for the core support. I know you've got, one there, one there. It bolts to the frame horns. I may not have much else. I need to put the foam in there just so I can get a good read on these headlights, because these gaps are weird. But you put the foam in there, that's going to push that bumper out and start to change the shape. And I really need to get an idea of the shape, because I think this should be good. I mean, this gap looks good. I think it's a matter of bolting the headlights in and kind of getting everything clipped in where it needs to be clipped in. But I think that should be okay. I mean, this should be factory. It's the other side that's a little crazy. And that's a good gap. Can't drive around like that. I mean, you could drive around like that. I'm not going to drive around like that. I want this where it needs to be. So, yes. I'm going to have to put the core support back. And of course, the headlight bolts the core support, so I won't know where this is right. I mean, I'll make some measurements, see if I'm close, pour the core support back on, put the headlight back in, and just check. And if it's not right, got to take it all back off. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth. But what else are you going to do? I mean, if you want it right, you want it right. I really don't want to replace this fender. I mean, it's $100 bucks, $120. I don't want to spend. I mean, this fender looks good, other than that huge, ugly gap. Could be some of this. might be, well, actually, this was out. So you push, yeah, you know, if you push this part in, it makes it, would that bring that out? I don't know, maybe like the bulge just, maybe this part's good, it's just isolated to right here, like this part needs to go in, and, no, I wonder, I mean, something's going on there. I mean, with the gap that big, I mean, maybe put it down the other side, it's just this part's where it needs to be, and this side's kicked out, it just kind of, it bent on that angle. Trying to see, I mean, because there should be, trying to feel for anything. That's out quite a bit. I think it's all related, all relegated to right there. I can see it's a little bulge right in here. I think just all that needs to come in. I think it probably is hinging on this body line. I bet that body line, I bet that right there is good. Maybe brings in a little bit. I mean, it almost has to come in. This part has to be out pretty far. The easy thing is to get a fender. That way you know it's right. Is that what we do? Do we just get the fender? Because I could work on this. I could spend a lot of, I mean, this is kind of the benefit of I'm doing this myself. I'm not working for anybody. Time is not necessarily a factor. I mean, but I could spend a lot of time on this and still not get it right. But could I get it close? I don't know. I need to play with this headlight and see where this thing should fit. That's crazy off compared to the other one. The other one I'm going to assume is close to right. And should that kick in? Kind of feels like it should. Like right there looks good, but how do I affect that change? I feel like it should be right in there. And that's what, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch out? No, not even 1/4 inch. I think that's an 1/8 inch out. I don't know how to get that pull in. Maybe loosen this bolt, try to bring it over, but when you look at it, I don't think any of that moved. That looks like it's where it's always been. But it does. I feel like it should be right in there, even though this side wasn't hit. That just looks better to me. Maybe I'm splitting hairs. Now you see where the hood fits in relation to this fender. Again, you gotta check all the gaps. Just seems a little odd. That seems a little odd, but I think the foam bumper, I think that's gonna lift everything back in place. I think we can get this. I mean, all the body work I've done on this, I mean, it's some rough work in the back. I think we can get this. I mean, this whole piece just needs to come in. And I need this core support gone because there's a core support runs right down right here, so I can't get a hammer. I need this move so I can hammer it like so. Put my dolly right there, hammer it maybe right in here. I don't know. I need to see. I might need to go farther back. I definitely need to come down to right in here, potentially back to here. For now, I think, concentrate on that, try to get that in, get that coming in. That's what it is. When that part's coming out right in here, it needs to run a little straighter. I think I got this part in, though I may have made a mistake pushing this in. I may have been working on it the whole time. Mistakes were made. We'll try to work on that. I think for now, working this fender, see where it goes. We'll push it. I'd like to keep this fender. I think we can get it close. Alright, I got this headlight fitting really well, just kind of by pushing on it. That's really just wasn't seated correctly. Look at that. Look at that line, this line. All these lines are good. Just had to push on it. So I may need to push on the other one to make sure that's seated correctly. I don't know how that one's supposed to be in there, but I got this in there just by pushing on it. I need to see exactly where it seats or how it seats. But so that one's in there. So this side, I just in 2 seconds got this right. And again, like that gap, I don't know. It seems like it's too much of a gap. Could it have pushed this up? Could this bend down? I don't know how you get that to come down. I mean, it just seems like with all the pieces here, it would not want to come down. I don't know. Maybe I need to find a car and just see what that's supposed to look like. Because it certainly seems, and that looks like too much of a gap. It looks like I wonder if this is bent up. I mean, look, this seems high. Seems like it should come down straight with this headlight. Seems like the whole thing, I don't know, I mean, I don't feel anything weird about it. It just feels like the whole thing should come down. It really does. And maybe I can just kind of just push on it really hard and get it to come down, maybe. Now, maybe not the best way to do it. Oh well, there's that thing with body work. There's always something. The only reason this is off, this kind of clips in there. I didn't want to clip all this in because I don't want to have to accidentally break this tabs. Unclipping it. I think something's going on here. I need to close the hood. I need to see what this looks like compared to the hood because something's weird. But if this lines up with the hood, then maybe it's just right. But it just seems weird to me. Because if you push this in, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. All right, so I got this one to clip in. All that looking pretty good. But that's definitely off. And I don't know how far that's, I mean, that could be off by quite a bit too. I mean, you see how far proud that is of the headlight? This one is not that far, a little proud. I mean, is this fender messed up? This corner? It's possible. This one definitely seems to be off a bit. And I mean, even this might be off a hair. I think this whole thing needs to come in. And maybe in the process we'll work on this. I mean, yeah, you can see I felt this before, there's a little wrinkle here. That might be what brings all this in. I think we can salvage this. I feel confident. I mean, up until I don't feel confident. But all this needs some work. I don't know the best way to do that. New fender would be quick. It would be. But I don't want to buy for a new fender. I'm going to have to buy parts for this thermostat housing to fix that. Oh, this looks good. This, I think we're just starting to, right in here. I think we're probably close right in here. Maybe a little far out. I think we're starting to bulge out up. No, I don't know what's happening here because all this seems right. But it might be working on this, bring this in. That might fix everything else. I'm gonna look at the hood. Let's look at the hood real quick. So the hood is higher than the fender. The fender seems high. I don't know, I mean, that gap just seems high. The hood is high all the way around. I messed with the latch. Don't know what else it is. Like, so this one, this is out. I don't know, that needs to come in. That kind of tracks with this whole fender and what's going on there. Man, replacing fender would be the easiest thing. I think it'd fix all of this. But the hood seems to sit high. And all the way around like this, I mean, it's not crazy. I don't know. Something's amiss here. If you push on the hood and get the hood kind of right down in there, then that fender's high. All this seems, I think that'd be kind of right. Like, you're gonna have a little bit of a gap there. Just that's the way it goes. Hood seems high. I'm gonna look at the latch on the hood side of it, see what's going on. Something's going on. Are you shocked? I'm still working on this car. You'd think I'd be done by now, but no, I'm not. So I did take off my front bumper, which was going to come off anyway. Undid the front core support so I could get to my passenger fender. I didn't want to take it off the car because hammering on it, I need it clamped down well. Well, you're not going to get it better clamped than actually on the car. So I've been trying to work around that on the car to get this dent, this ripple out, because it's right at the passenger light. I've made some progress, still have some progress to go, because the trick of it is, it's bent right around like kind of the corner edge, and that's just a tricky thing to get out. And I'm not the most experienced hammer and dolly person in the world, which makes it extra tricky. And right now I'm wondering, do I take like a wrench or vice grips, or not vice grips, I don't know, something to try to like wrench this corner around, because I feel like it needs to be wrenched around to get into a spot. It was about 3/8 of an inch out of alignment. It's down now to like maybe 3/16. So I've cut half of it out, and that's just having a dolly on. So since it's dented out, is it, yeah, dented out. I've got a dolly on the outside, trying to get that dent back in, and you can tell, like, you can feel, just, I'm touching the fender right now, you can tell it is smoother. You can tell there's still like some little bit of nonsense going on, but it is better. And looking at it, you would never know, except for at the corner of the headlight. So let's take a look at that. So this is my issue right here. You can see a nice ripple right at that corner, and I've been working on it, but that has just not come out very easily. Now this big dent, or this larger dent that was not very noticeable, I kind of put my dolly right in here, because that's kind of where I kind of rippled out right in here. And so I put that in there and just hammered from the inside, and that's come out a little bit. I think there's still something going on like right in here. You can kind of feel it. And that's something I can put a dolly on the outside, because again, you put a dolly, if it's bulging out, you put a dolly on the outside. If it's dent, most of your dents are like this way, you hit it that way, and you put your dolly on the inside to get that dent to pop out. I mean, you're using the dolly to pop it out, the hammer to massage it. So there's still something right in here going on, which I think we can work on that. You know, again, I kind of feel it right in here, so I put my dolly right there. But this corner, having some issue with that. It's just a tough little corner to work on. And I mean, you can see the ripple very clearly. Like, so I don't know if I need to put maybe duct tape or something just to protect the paint, and use a wrench to kind of wrench it. Like, I'd wrench it this way, wrench it in like that to get it folded in a little bit. Because I think you know, I'm measuring the out of alignment, I'm measuring from this inside edge back to a spot on the fender. And so if I were to wrench this in, it might take the rest of my space out and get that where it needs to be, but still, it's just a little messed up. It looks like there's a little bit of a bow going on here, which very well could be possible. Like I feel a little bit of something here, and that will kind of line with that bow, so I think it needs to kind of come in right in there. That might be it. I don't know. You can see, undid core support, just give me some space, because this part was blocking me from hammering. So I don't know. I mean, I'm going slowly. I don't have a lot of experience in this. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. It's better. It's right in there. I kind of feel it right in there. You can kind of see it right in there. I'll work on that. I'd like to save the fender. I just don't know what to do about that. I really need that to wrench in. I don't know if I should just start beating on it right in there to get that to come in. I'm not sure that's going to work. I'll think about that. As always, I'm always open to advice. I'm always open to learning new things. If you have some methods, I mean, by this time it might be too late by the time I hear it, but you know what? I know it for next time, and that'll work for me. So I think some things are better, some things are worse. This ripple around here, that is better. You look at that, that looks better. I've kind of developed a little bit of a dent right in here. And also created a dent down in here. I think I've just about got that worked out. It's still a little bit right in there. It was worse. It's the way it goes. I mean, part of this is an experience, but also it's knowing not when to go too far. I mean, I still think I have a bit of a bow in here. I've developed a dent in there. This corner has come down quite a bit, and that's just pushing the block up against it and just pushing on it. No hammering, just pushing on it, trying to work it in, and that's better. But I was trying to work on this part first, and so I'm getting a dent there, but that'll be something that I'll just come back on, because it's still a big ripple right in there. This top part, I mean, this whole part was out, and now it's coming in, so it's getting better. The distance from the fender, like this, close to being good. Yeah, man, this dent right here, it's just a little dent. It was, I don't even know what I did or how I did it, but it was a pretty good dent. It is much, much better, but I think like right in there is where it's the worst. So I need to work on that, but it's getting a dent in there, so I'm gonna need to pop that out. Part of it is just not going, part of it is knowing when to stop and when you've gone too far. I've certainly gone too far, like right in here. I was working on this. I probably should have been working on this first. I know you're supposed to start at the worst spot, which was definitely right here. Should have started working on that. I mean, I could work on this overall, which I did. Then I was really focused on, oh, I'll just start right here. Well, no, I'm going to start right here when I need to get right in here. So I think that just looks like it's a little wavy. That is something to work on. I will work on that dent. But I think, and it might be, if I can get this to go in, that might get better. I don't think so. I think if that goes in, I think it might just make that worse. But we're making progress. I mean, the measurements, I was 3/8 of an inch off. Now, I think I'm down to just 1/8, maybe a little bit less. Because I knew getting that in would work. And so it's better. It's certainly better. Don't know if it's passable. Unfortunately, to check with the headlight, I have to put everything back in. I'll ball it for now. And I can go to the other side too and look, because that looks like it's blown out. So I'm going to go to the other side, check that out too. But we're making progress. Can this fender be saved? I was planning to do it. I was hoping I could do it, and it's certainly looking better, certainly more positive. So after quite a bit of body work, here is how we stand. It needs to push in a little bit. You can see I got pushed in. It's close, but that looks way better. I mean, obviously that gap is a little crazy, and I don't know how much I can fix that. I mean, there's something going on there. I think that still has a little bit more room. I think that still has a little more room to kind of go in. But if I can get this whole thing to go in just a little bit, I mean, we're like 1/16 of an inch, maybe 1/8 of an inch. I mean, down here, I think this gap looks really good. I'm going to have to create the other side, but I think that's right. And just route just a little bit. You can still see there's a little bit of bubble there, but that is way better than what it was. We are very, very close to fitting in. Like, this needs to bend a little bit. I'm pleased. I did create a dent. Where is it? Right in there. And can you see that? You see a little dent right in there. I actually created one dent, was able to fix that. Created this now. I need to go back and work on that a little bit more. I think I can fix that one. But up here, it looks I mean, before it was way out here. It's better. I think we can get it a little bit farther in. I mean, we're so close. I mean, that gap looks a little weird. Maybe if that whole thing pushes in, that's going to put us pretty close to where we need to be. All in all, I'm pleased. That is not terrible. I think we can get this going. I think we're so close. I think we can make this fender work, which is nice. So, you know, this side it's good. There's a little bit of a gap in there. I mean, it's nice. Looks nice there. A little bit of gap there, which is good, because I had a little bit bigger gap on the other side. Looking at that, little bit of space there. Let's go back to this side. So I think that looks really good. It's a little wide right in there, just a little bit wide. And that still needs to go in. I mean, I've pushed this in quite far in relation to how far metal moves. Still needs to go in a little bit more. And this whole thing, I think this whole thing needs to move. This whole piece of the fender. You can see there's a little bit of ripple in there. I think that starts going down. This starts going in. We're close though. We're very close. I mean, when I started, I wasn't sure what I would do with this. But we've done stuff. I think that's like, I think we're 1/16 of an inch off there. If we can kind of get that in, still push this in just a little bit farther. That's probably an 1/8 inch off or farther. Need to work on that. There's a little dent right in here I was hoping the headlight would cover, and it does. And it's just like a tiny little ripple, but you can't see it. I think we're in good shape. Very good shape. We'll just work on this a little more. You really can't, you used to could feel it in the fender. You can't really feel it in the fender. I think what's happening, I got a little bit of dent here. I think this dent goes in and it kicks this out. So I think if I push this in, I might work that dent out. We're going places. We're making progress.